Hello guys, can I just share with you this creamy cup of coffee I just made for myself? And let's talk about something real. Brew yourself a cup of coffee with me and sit back. Let's get started. You know, when you move out, as we talked about in previous video, you meet the silence. Silence and being on your own, and no one else sees you. Just you and your inner you and your thoughts and your conversations between you two. And that silence in a few days gets louder. Well, at first it feels peaceful and like no one interrupts you and everything is cool, but days later you start to feel this, that it gets louder. Not because of sound, but because something inside you is starting to show up. It's a weird mental noise that shows up. That's what I like to call it. You know, when you sit in silence and you randomly start remembering your old conversations from years ago, you remember your unhealed trauma, it just, lots of things get louder in your head and louder, and you don't have a choice but to start scrolling on TikTok or YouTube, maybe, I don't know. You just trying to mute this thing out because it gets too loud. You just get so distracted. You just sat there drinking your cup of coffee, and then you start to feel this heavy thing in your mind and you just don't know how to deal with that. And you know, I realized maybe I should stop distract myself from that noise and just start to listen. Maybe it's something important that my brain tried to tell me. And then there were times when I started to listen to it. I think I just should, I should shape the silence, shape this loud silence. I started to play some light jazz in the mornings, or maybe like lo-fi beats when I'm trying to study, or maybe some light rain when I go into sleep. These all things. It wasn't a distraction. It was like realization that the silence is a canvas that I get to paint, and how I get it painted is my own choice. I get to do with this whatever I want, and dance got easier. And here is something weird. I started to talk with myself out loud, like not in a crazy way, but sometimes just to check on myself, like, am I doing alright? Okay, what am I anxious about? Or just these comforting words like, everything gonna be alright, don't worry man, you'll be fine, you'll be just fine. These things that I wanted to hear from someone, I'm no longer expected it to hear from someone because I was on my own literally, so I had to be my lifesaver. And it worked. I started to feel like I'm the only one who cares about myself, which is in fact the truth. But at the same time, it didn't mean the painful way, like I'm abandoned and stuff, but just I started to fulfill myself with myself, if that makes sense. I started to help my inner self by my outer self. Like it's so cool. You realize that on your own you're so powerful. You don't have to have anyone to support you, to comfort you. You just arrive on your own. And there is something that I call peace versus loneliness. You don't get to choose one or the other. It's the thing. If you choose to be on your own, that's peace. If you had to be on your own, that's loneliness. You have to actually choose to be in peace, to have solitude, to enjoy it, to truly enjoy it. But if you left in solitude, you're lonely, you need someone to comfort you. But if you get the understanding that you are not alone, you are with your own self, yes, you're not alone anymore, you're in peace. And I think that's the fine line, and that's the twist. It's all about with what you feel, the silence. Is it a noise, or is it meaningful thoughts? These days I made the silence my own. I'm not afraid of it. I fill it with things that I wanted to have within my life, and now the life and the dance got easier. Let me know if you experiencing loneliness, or do you call it peace, or just pick a side and tell me in the comments, how do you deal with this, how this makes your life harder or easier. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode of this series, Living Alone.